One of the things that comes up quite often for my Bib Accelerator members is the tendency of perfectionism and how that holds them back from building their brilliant business. So in this week's video, I thought it'd be really good to go through 6 ways that shows up quite regularly for my members of how perfectionism holds you back so that you can review them for yourself and see whether that's showing up for you. I'm also going to go through a therapeutic tool that you can use in order to overcome the limitations of perfectionism. So let's get started. First one is you have loads of ideas and they never come to fruition. You never get started. This is one of the classics of perfectionism is everything has to be right before you even get started, or there's even loads of reasons why you shouldn't get started, because you can't make it perfect. You haven't got the knowledge, or you don't know how to make it work, or so many different excuses and reasons of why that thing hasn't yet happened. So if you've got ideas or things that you would like to achieve, but they just don't seem to get off the ground, they don't seem to get started, then maybe perfectionism is the thing that's standing in your way. Second one is you get started, but then something never gets launched. So some people start something, they're building something, and then they keep tweaking it or re-recording it, or there's always a reason, I'm not sure about that, so I'll do it again. Oh, I need to add in this, so I'll just add this in. Oh, hang on, this other module needs doing. Oh, I just need to do this. So for whatever reason, things never actually get launched. They also might not get launched because you think, oh gosh, someone might disagree, or somebody might give you feedback that it needs improving in some way, or it's not good enough, and those sorts of things. So various reasons why something might hover around and never really get launched. And perfectionism comes into that a lot. Number 3 is doing more courses. I see this one quite a lot. I'm not expert enough yet. I will get round to it after I do this particular course. But then when they do that course, they then get learning all those things, and then they say, oh, but I've seen this course, I've seen that course, I'm doing this. So perpetual learning is sometimes your answer to perfectionism. I've got to be perfect, I've got to be expert, I've got to know all of this stuff before I can put it out to the world. So that also holds people back. Number 4, waiting for the right time. So I can't do it yet because it's the Easter holidays. I can't do it yet because it's Christmas. I can't do it yet because I haven't got X, Y, or Z. There's loads and loads of reasons why the timing isn't right. Again, the perfect time does not exist. So that is very much can be a perfectionist thing, is I'm waiting for the right time. There is no right time. Number 5, procrastinating. See this one a lot. You can come up with 1,000,001 other things to do other than the thing that is going to get you to build your brilliant business, because those things are scary. I haven't done them before. I don't know. I don't know enough. I'm not expert enough. I don't know how it's all going to go. And until I have all of those answers, I will procrastinate for very many reasons. I'll do the dishwasher, I'll do the laundry, I'll faff around with my branding, I'll do some personal development, I'll read a book, I'll do anything, but not do the thing that I really need to do in order to build a business. And that can be perfectionism as well. And then number 6 is over delivering. So you have an idea and then it's like, oh, and it needs this, that, and the other. And all of a sudden the kind of price point doesn't make sense. If you're feeling resentful because you're giving more than you're getting, then over delivering is probably creeping in. And some of that is to do with perfectionism, because you don't want people to say, that it wasn't good enough, or that there wasn't the information that they wanted, or whatever it is that you're telling yourself. It's not perfect. So therefore you need to add in more. So you end up over delivering in so many things. So what do we do about it? I have a 5-step process. First, you can't change anything until you are conscious of what you're doing. So the first thing is bringing it out of subconscious, just doing stuff, into a realization that perfectionism is not a goal to aim for, because none of us are perfect and you can't ever reach it. So realizing that it's perfectionism, the reason why you're doing all of these things. You can look for habits. So if you do a certain behavior in a habitual way of any of the 6 that I've talked about, then it's realizing that it is perfectionism that's holding you back. Or you could listen to that inner chatter and the truth of the inner chatter. Like, what are you saying to yourself? What's the truth? And realizing, yeah, I'm not allowed to make mistakes and I need to be perfect. Okay. So call it out for what it is, make it conscious. Step number 1. Step number 2 is origin stories. We as human beings don't do things for no reason. So where is the reason behind your need to be perfect or your inability to make mistakes? Where did that come from? What did you learn? What were you told? What did you experience? It might be something that your parents said, like, always do your best. Or maybe you submitted something at school and got torn down for it being rubbish, and that's made you think that you need to try hard. And maybe you were in a corporate job and always asked, give more, give more, give more. Your best was never good enough. So what is the origin stories? Step number 2. Step number 3 is let it go, update it, realize that it's not helpful anymore. Anything that is going to help you to say, okay, those origin stories don't need to continue into my future. I can choose a different viewpoint. I can choose a different outcome. Whether you want to write it down and then rip it up and burn it, whether you want to write a forgiveness letter, maybe you just want to sit and say, it's not helpful anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. Whatever it is, we need to kind of forgive those origin stories or let go of those origin stories. The next step is decide on whatever the new way of being is going to be. So what's the new behavior that you're going to do? What's the new thing you're going to think? What's the new way of being? And sort of decide what that's going to be. And usually at this point, personally, I choose an affirmation that is something really quick. It's just a sentence that I can say, like, I'm allowed to make mistakes. It's human. Something that is going to be a really good quick sentence that I can remember. And then the last step is whenever that behavior is happening and you're aware of it, we say stop and we say the new affirmation or we do the new behavior. So we're interrupting that pattern and saying, whoa, hang on, it's not what we do anymore, we do this. And slowly but surely, the more that you do it, the more habitual it will become. One of the things that I love about the Bib Accelerator is how we support each other. And one of the things is you can't usually see your own stuff because it's your life and you're far too involved in it. But to somebody else, it can be really obvious. And sometimes that's the role that I play within the accelerator, is to say to people, whoa, hang on a minute. Why isn't that launched yet? What's holding you back? What's that block? And is it perfectionism? And if it is, kind of, help them to work through that process and help them to clear that block so that they can then move on. So if you feel like you really want the accountability and the support of a community and a place where people can call it out with kindness and question what you're doing, and so you can remove the block, then the Bib Accelerator might be worth your time, your effort. Have a look at it. I will put a link down below in the description so you can read more about it. So perfectionism can really hold you back in business, but it doesn't have to remain that way. We can absolutely call it out for what it is, and we can absolutely remove the blocks and move forward so that you can be free to build your brilliant business and realize that you're allowed to not do things at 120% because that's unrealistic in the first place, and decide what is more realistic for you. That is it for this week's video. I hope you found that useful and interesting, and I will see you next week for the next one.